Hello everyone, I'm Yazan Ibrahim, or as some of you might know me, yazan.abogosh. Today we're going to dive into a fascinating and essential topic, Fraud Examiner Section 3, Investigation 3.5, Covert Operations. Today's deep dive into the world of fraud investigation. Whether you're an aspiring fraud investigator, a business owner, or simply curious about how organizations manage their finances, or if you are an auditor, this journey will shed light on the often complex systems that drive decision making. Covert operations are like the hidden gears of an intricate clock, working silently and seamlessly behind the scenes to reveal critical evidence, while keeping intentions concealed from their subjects. These operations, which balance precision, strategy, and discretion, are cornerstone techniques in investigations, such as combating fraud or uncovering illegal activities. However, they are by no means simple or risk-free. They require meticulous planning, unwavering professionalism, and strict adherence to ethical and legal standards. Let's dive deep into how covert operations work, breaking down their core principles, challenges, and approaches in ways that captivate your curiosity and bring clarity to this complex process. The art of disguise, establishing an identity. Imagine immersing yourself so deeply in a role that you momentarily become someone else. That's the essence of creating a covert identity. Building an undercover persona is not just about looking the part. It's about being believable in every word and action. Investigators begin by crafting a plausible backstory, what detectives might call a cover story. This story must be simple yet adaptable, with just enough detail to hold up under scrutiny. For instance, a fraud examiner posing as an employee of a target company might use supporting elements like fake IDs, falsified employment records, and even personal effects such as worn-out notebooks or mismatched keychains, anything that adds authenticity. But having a prop isn't enough. The operative must rehearse and internalize the backstory. They visualize it like chapters of a book, ready to respond to unexpected questions without hesitation or revealing hints of their true intentions. A strong cover story, while credible, remains grounded in reality, which minimizes risks during intense situations. Here's a fascinating point. Simplicity often trumps extravagance. Just as an illusionist diverts attention with small gestures to protect their secrets, operatives succeed by maintaining a role so unassuming that targets have no reason to doubt them. Defining objectives. Where strategy meets precision, every covert operation must function like a ship charted toward a clear destination. Investigators begin with well-defined objectives, ensuring that every action aligns toward resolving a larger puzzle. These objectives generally fall into categories such as identifying participants in criminal networks, uncovering illicit financial flows, or collecting evidence admissible in courtrooms. For example, imagine the challenges faced while infiltrating a counterfeit goods operation. It's not enough to see the transactions. The investigator must document how the networks operate, who the players are, and the methods employed to disguise their tracks. Every piece of evidence must be collected systematically, envisioning its potential use in legal proceedings. Without such structure, operations risk becoming haphazard, or worse, legally inadmissible due to procedural oversights. Challenges loom like shadows. Risks in covert operations. No covert mission comes without its inherent risks. Whether investigators experience the physical harm lurking in hostile environments, the stress of maintaining long-term deception, or legal complexities, no phase of the operation is without its perils. Even when the investigator plays their role to perfection, unexpected elements, such as compromised insiders, can unravel plans. One unforgettable example that demonstrates the costs of legal corner-cutting and proactive planning failure is the infamous case of entrapment. In one instance, an investigator posed as an insider to induce suspects into theft schemes. They encouraged the participants to commit crimes they might not have done otherwise. Yet, without probable cause or specific suspects in mind, the operation failed in court, as it violated ethical and legal guidelines. A classic example of how operational missteps can ruin critical efforts. To mitigate these risks, covert teams conduct exhaustive planning. They perform contingency analysis as if plotting the logistics of an expedition across unpredictable terrain. Plans must allow for flexibility, legal review, and ethical compliance. Surveillance versus undercover, two halves of the covert coin. Broadly, covert operations are divided into two foundational forms: surveillance and undercover work. Each is a discipline requiring unique skills and techniques. Surveillance. The silent watcher. Surveillance hinges on meticulous observation without involvement. Picture a detective strategically monitoring a subject's routine, observing their interactions, and capturing their activities via advanced tools like tracking devices, hidden cameras, or intercepted communications. Unlike Hollywood portrayals, real surveillance demands endless patience and discretion. Every recorded moment can become a data point. The intersection of where a suspect parks their car or who shakes their hand could provide essential insights into their network. Undercover, walking the tightrope of deceit. Unlike surveillance, undercover operatives dive directly into the heart of the action. Imagine navigating a delicate web of lies while standing only inches away from your adversary. Whether posing as a loyal associate or an interested buyer, undercover agents rely entirely on their improvisational skills and composure. These missions demand operatives who can think on their feet and regulate their psychological well-being. This isn't just an act, it's a lifestyle during the mission's tenure. Tools and allies. Informants as key players. No hero works alone, and in covert operations, informants often act as the unseen benefactors. These individuals serve as bridges to critical information that would otherwise remain hidden. But just as informants can enrich investigations, they also pose risks. Mismanaged informants have been known to disclose operational details to targets, undermining months of work. Informants' motivations vary widely, from money to revenge to morality, but investigators must always approach these partnerships cautiously. For instance, investigators often ensure confidentiality and assess the informant's credibility before considering their insights as actionable intelligence. Constant evaluation ensures that their role remains an asset, not a liability. Walking the tightrope, legal and ethical dilemmas. Covert operations must always stay within the boundaries of legality. For instance, the act of recording conversations, which looks deceptively simple, can be a legal minefield. Some jurisdictions allow recordings with consent from one party, while others require all parties to be informed beforehand. Ethical dilemmas too plague decisions. How far should investigators use deception to expose fraud without compromising personal or professional integrity? Consider this powerful reminder. Even in complex cases, operations must refrain from tactics that resemble fishing expeditions, where no clear cause exists to suspect wrongdoing. Otherwise, courts often dismiss the case, citing entrapment. Investigators are trained to navigate these tempestuous waters carefully, balancing their mission's efficiency with the moral compass needed to maintain public trust. Conclusion. The chessboard of covert operations. Covert operations, though steeped in mystery and burdened by risk, remain indispensable tools in combating fraud and uncovering truths hidden in shadows. The investigator's world is one of masks and mirrors, where every move must be calculated, every interaction purposeful. But success in their endeavors often comes not from extravagance, but from discipline, creativity, and boundless attention to detail. As you continue to explore the intricacies of covert operations, remember, the key to their success lies not just in exposing wrongdoing, but doing so with legal integrity, ethical responsibility, and absolute commitment to uncovering the truth. Types of surveillance. A dynamic framework. Surveillance isn't one size fits all, and that's where the magic lies. From shadowy alleyways to bustling cityscapes, surveillance adapts like a chameleon, tailoring itself to the needs of the observer. Picture mobile surveillance, for example, as a game of cat and mouse, tailing subjects discreetly on foot or by vehicle as they move through their daily routines. Think of the observer tracking an unsuspecting individual through winding streets, blending in seamlessly with crowds while adjusting to their environment. Now contrast this with fixed surveillance, which is more akin to becoming an invisible observer in the target's environment. Known as a stakeout, this method positions the observer in one location, keeping watch over a stationary subject. Imagine the observer shifting from behind a window to another vantage point, all to maintain an uninterrupted view. Surveillance methods, loose versus close. The flavor of surveillance varies based on intensity. Loose surveillance is like dipping your toes into the water, a more laid-back approach, deploying observation only occasionally and retreating quickly if there's a hint of suspicion. Close surveillance, on the other hand, is the full dive, complete and unrelenting observation even when suspicion is aroused. In either case, precision and presence of mind are key, as any misstep can compromise the entire operation. A masterclass in technique, foot surveillance. Imagine a crowded street, each person immersed in their own world. Amid the chaos, a one-person surveillance method unfolds. Following a subject at just the right distance, the observer navigates the delicate line between detection and discretion. When streets become less crowded, actions are adjusted, slower, more calculated, blending naturally into the background of the environment. But as the mission becomes more complex, an A-B system with two people comes into play. The A shadow trails the subject directly, while B acts as a concealed backup, monitoring both the subject and the lead observer. Their teamwork relies on subtle, pre-arranged signals, silent nods or hand gestures that ensure no word is spoken out loud. In highly challenging environments or under more intricate observation needs, this expands further into a three-person system with coordinated positioning, increasing coverage, and ensuring seamless tracking even in difficult scenarios. Vehicle surveillance, precision on the move. Envision the faint glow of tail lights on a dimly lit street. This is vehicle surveillance in action. A one-vehicle technique calls for careful pacing, maintaining a safe gap while being vigilant for sudden turns or stops. But for higher stakes situations, a two-vehicle system can operate, mimicking the A-B strategy from foot techniques. This grants flexibility, with one vehicle monitoring parallel streets while the other tracks directly behind. Under the shroud of night, these strategies require further adjustments to stay unobtrusive, such as dimming lights and minimizing attention. Embracing technology, specialized surveillance. In today's world, surveillance transcends traditional means, incorporating advanced tools like drones equipped with cameras, infrared, and radar. While drones soar discreetly above populated areas, investigators must balance technological prowess with ethical considerations, adhering strictly to privacy regulations. Satellite imagery adds another layer to this toolkit, offering sweeping, detailed views of locations for fraud investigations or spotting hidden assets like luxury estates. Imagine these technologies offering investigators a clarity akin to watching the world from above through an amplified lens. The human touch. Sources and informants beyond gadgets and vehicles lies the intricate human network of sources and informants. Confidential sources emerge from professional roots, like accountants or lawyers, providing information that aids investigations without direct involvement in criminal activities. In contrast, informants may tread murkier waters of culpability, often balancing precariously between self-preservation and cooperation. Their motivations range from gaining leniency to personal vendettas, making their role both essential and complex in equal measure. Informant categories span a fascinating range, from basic lead informants who merely provide insight to covert operatives planted in long-term assignments within organizations. Their involvement can bring highly sensitive intelligence, but carries immense legal and ethical complexities. This delicate dance requires precision, trust, and a commitment to safeguarding both the integrity of the investigation and the welfare of the informant. Challenges and countermeasures, the art of staying invisible. Surveillance isn't always smooth sailing. Picture a subject suddenly reversing course on a busy street or boarding an obscure mode of public transport. These evasive actions challenge even the most seasoned observers, but with sharp anticipation and adaptability, these scenarios become opportunities to fine-tune strategy and maintain control. Even the act of abandoning surveillance can be crucial. Knowing when and how to pull back to avoid confrontation is an art form in itself. Sometimes the clearest judgment lies in recognizing when to disappear into the shadows entirely. The ethical and legal landscape surveillance exists in a moral and legal gray area that demands vigilance. Informants and sources are not merely tools. They come with their own complexities and risks. Legal constraints, such as hearsay rules or privacy violations, loom large, while ethical questions hover around the promises of confidentiality and the treatment of informants. Investigators must meticulously document every interaction, protect identities, and avoid entrapping subjects, a tightrope walk to ensure justice while upholding legal standards. Conclusion: a balancing act of skill and integrity. The world of surveillance is as much an art form as it is a science, blending cutting-edge techniques with human intuition. Whether it's the calculated grind of a stakeout, the fast-paced adaptation of tailing a subject, or leveraging drones and informants, every aspect requires precision and ethical care. Surveillance isn't just about gathering information. It's about preserving the integrity of the investigation while respecting the fine balance of privacy and justice. The next time you think of surveillance, think of it as a symphony. Every element working together harmoniously to reveal the truth. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning. Stay curious, and we'll see you next video.